Overnight, a spokesperson for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle saying the couple is being kicked out of their Windsor home. Telling NBC News, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been requested to vacate their residence at Frogmore Cottage.
Even though Meghan's brand, as ever, posted a gushing tribute to her on her birthday, praising her as a woman, a business founder, a mother, a wife, the royal family has remained notably silent on this special day. And the likelihood is we aren't going to get a birthday well-wish from any of them anytime soon.
On the royal front, bad news for the Sussexes as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's chief of staff, a man called Josh Kettler, has reportedly quit after just 3 months in the role.
Well, apparently, Kettler has left the couple high and dry as they prepare to begin their public tour of Colombia later this week.
She is difficult, she's too demanding. We heard there was an incident over the holidays that year where, you know, people came back, she was demanding this meeting, she was upset that people hadn't been, she wanted decks and plans, and they hadn't been doing them because they were on vacation and spending time with their family, and she had a meltdown. Major dispute with some people, and I guess Ari Emanuel, who is the head honcho over there, was just like, I am done with her.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has followed a strikingly steady course. Years after exiting royal life, the Sussexes continue to dominate most disliked celebrities lists. 2025 Rankers list places Meghan Markle firmly at #1 ahead of figures like Sean Diddy Combs, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Ellen DeGeneres.
Meghan is in serious trouble. Hollywood wants nothing to do with her, and the list of people rejecting her keeps growing. Here are the snubs that prove her image is completely falling apart. Dolly Parton said no. When Meghan's Netflix show started flopping, her team got desperate. They came up with a plan to get the legendary Dolly Parton to appear on the show and save it. They sent the invitation expecting a yes. Dolly didn't even think twice. She said no immediately. Meghan was furious. But instead of looking in the mirror, she did something shocking. She actually blamed the royal family for Dolly turning her down. Yes, you heard that right.
Netflix asked her to go on to Meghan's show as ever, and she declined because of brand and reputation damage she could foresee by associating herself with Meghan.
But then damage control mode. A spokesperson from Meghan's team came out and said Dolly was never formally invited, that the whole story was blown out of proportion. So which is it? Was she invited or not? Here's what we do know. This is not the first time something like this has happened, and it won't be the last. The Emmys erased her completely. Now let's go back to 2022. Meghan and Harry dropped their big Netflix tell-all, and yes, millions of people watched it. But here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. People didn't watch it because they loved her. They watched it to see just how far the lies would go. It was like watching a car crash. You can't look away, but not because it's good.
A lot of what that documentary, Harry and Meghan, was fiction. I mean, they made it up and they lied.
And that success got straight to Meghan's head. She actually expected an Emmy nomination. She thought the views meant Hollywood respected her. They didn't. The show was completely ignored, not even close to the nominations list, thrown out like it never existed. Meghan and Harry were devastated. But instead of taking the hint, Meghan did something that left Hollywood speechless. She applied to be an Emmy judge, the same show that just got rejected. And she wants to sit on the panel that decides who wins? The nerve. And the reason Hollywood keeps shutting her out? Insiders say it's simple. They have no respect for someone who walked away from royal duties and then tried to use that same story to get famous.
Interesting thing is that Meghan applied to be a judge on the Emmys, which is really funny because the only she would vote for would be her own documentary.
And in 2025, same story. The Emmy Awards came and went. Meghan and Harry, nowhere to be seen. No nominations, no invites, no reason to show up. While Hollywood's biggest names were being celebrated, Meghan and Harry were sitting at home watching from the outside. The ceremony was for people who actually made an impact, and they didn't make the cut. Taylor Swift and Beyoncé treated her like a stranger. But perhaps the most painful snub of all came during her podcast. Meghan personally invited two of the biggest names on the planet, Taylor Swift and Beyoncé, her friends, or so she claimed. She had told the world these women were close to her, that they had her back. Neither of them showed up, not once, not for a single episode. No Taylor, no Beyoncé, just empty seats and broken promises. The women she had been publicly name-dropping treated her like a stranger, and the whole world watched it happen in real time. Sometimes the most brutal truth isn't what your enemies say about you. It's what your so-called friends do when the cameras are on.
A lot. We found out that Taylor Swift turned down Meghan Markle for the Archetypes podcast. I believe Vanity Fair told us that Beyoncé turned down Meghan Markle for, was it Archetypes too?
The Kardashians erased her like she never existed. exhausted. Now this one is embarrassing. Meghan and Harry attended Kris Jenner's star-studded 75th birthday. They took photos with the family. They were smiling. They looked like they belonged. And then, the photos went up on social media. Harry and Meghan were right there in the pictures. They looked like they belonged. No statement, just erased. The internet exploded. Was it a mistake? Was it deliberate? Nobody said a word. And that silence was more powerful than any explanation could ever be.
Getting up to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, they're getting roasted right now after Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian deleted photos posing with the Sussexes from Instagram. Now, of course, they both posted pictures and then deleted them. This is, of course, this was when they attended Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party.
Even the Real Housewives said, absolutely not. Meghan loves to call herself a devoted housewife, always talking about how hard she works for her family. So you'd think she'd fit right in on Real Housewives, right? Wrong. When the ladies on the show were asked about Meghan possibly joining, their reaction said everything. They looked alarmed, uncomfortable, like the question itself was offensive. They didn't want her. Full stop. No sugarcoating. No polite excuses. Just a flat out, not her, not here, not ever. These women basically said that having Meghan around would be a disaster. And these are reality TV stars. They'll film with almost anyone, just not her.
No. Oh, you want a house?
Well, I guess they have
what
to be,
about
right?
Meghan Markle? Oh.
No, we're not.
I'd rather not. I don't want Meghan Markle on our show now.
I think Kate would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I've said
a royal.
Right, yeah. You should probably have like a break.
Yeah, because she would surprise people.
She's
tough as nails.
Forced out of Buckingham Palace. This happened in March 2019, during the 50th anniversary of Charles becoming Prince of Wales. It wasn't a casual gathering, it was a historic milestone. Buckingham Palace was hosting a formal reception, filled with senior royals, high-ranking officials, and carefully selected guests. Every move mattered. Every detail was watched. This was one of those nights where tradition ruled and behavior was everything. And in a room like that, anyone who didn't fit the moment stood out immediately. Before the main event even began, Queen Elizabeth II, Charles, and Prince William were scheduled to view the investiture items in a private room. This was a closed-door moment, quiet and strictly controlled. Only they and their spouses were permitted inside. No exceptions, no confusion. The rules were made very clear. Every other guest, no matter how important, was firmly instructed to wait in a separate room. This was about hierarchy, tradition, and knowing your place. And in a setting like this, crossing that line was not a small mistake. But Prince Harry and Meghan didn't follow that instruction. They didn't wait, they didn't hang back. Video footage shows them already standing near the entrance of the private room before the Queen even arrived. That matters. It meant they had moved ahead of everyone else, ignoring clear directions. In a palace where order is everything, that kind of move doesn't go unnoticed. And it doesn't go down well. At one point, Charles had to step in himself and say clearly, "No, senior royals only." It couldn't have been more direct. But even then, they didn't listen. They lingered. They stayed where they weren't supposed to be. That's when palace aides moved in. A security guard followed. The situation was handled quietly but firmly. They were guided away from the Queen and then escorted out of the room altogether. In a place where rules are absolute, it never should have gone that far. Balenciaga didn't even want her there. Then there was the Balenciaga fashion show in Paris. And this one is truly something else. Meghan wasn't invited. Let that sink in. One of the most talked about fashion shows in the world. And she didn't get an invite. So what did she do? She reached out herself and asked if she could come. She had to ask for a seat at a table that wasn't meant for her. And when she finally got there, the internet had a field day. The walk, the look, the energy. People couldn't stop talking. And not in a good way. Getting in doesn't always mean you belong there.
It's been revealed that Meghan Markle actually invited herself to this Paris Fashion Week show earlier this month. Now, the Balenciaga designer has claimed that she reached out and she said she would love to come to the show. I mean, Andrew, reading this, it does not surprise me.
Morocco red carpet exposed. On one of their royal tours to Morocco, a red carpet was laid out for the prince to walk on and inspect the guard of honor waiting for him. It was a formal moment, carefully planned and meant for one person only. But Meghan saw it as another chance to grab the spotlight. She stepped forward, clearly expecting to be part of the moment. And that's when reality hit. The protocol didn't bend. The moment didn't shift. The universe, quite literally, said, "Not today." She planned to cling to Harry and slide right into the spotlight with him. That was the plan. But in the middle of it, a staff member stepped in and stopped her cold, quietly directing her to the side. This wasn't part of the script she had in mind. It wasn't what she expected, and it definitely wasn't what she wanted. She had a brief exchange with the staff member, clearly hoping the situation would change. It didn't. With no other option, she had to comply and walk along the side of the carpet instead. Her face stayed stiff, tight with frustration, as the moment slipped away. Some people later speculated she was told that red carpets are for royals only, or that she was barred for being a non-royal in that moment. No one confirmed it, but the message was clear enough. The spotlight was meant for Harry, and only Harry. And the uncomfortable truth is this: the only way he could fully have that moment was without Meghan stepping in, without the tension, without the attitude that kept pulling focus away. She made history for all the wrong reasons. And it's not just Hollywood. The whole world has spoken. In 2025, the most disliked celebrities list dropped. And sitting right at the very top, Meghan Markle. But here's the part that will shock you. She pushed out Sean Diddy Combs to take that #1 spot. Let that sink in. Out of every controversial figure on the planet, she ranked higher than Diddy. At this point, it's hard to argue with the world.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has followed a strikingly steady course. Years after exiting royal life, the Sussexes continue to dominate most disliked celebrities lists. 2025 Rankers list places Meghan Markle firmly at #1 ahead of figures like Sean Diddy Combs, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Ellen DeGeneres.
Her own staff can't escape fast enough. And it's not just the big companies. Even the people working directly for her can't take it. Staff don't last long around Meghan. They come in, they see what's really going on behind closed doors, and they leave. Some reportedly needed therapy just from working with her. Think about that. Not a war zone, not a hospital, just working for Meghan Markle. And the ones who leave, they're not coming back, ever. The toxic environment speaks for itself.
On the royal front, bad news for the Sussexes as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's chief of staff, a man called Josh Kettler, has reportedly quit after just 3 months in the role.
Well, apparently, Kettler has left the couple high and dry as they prepare to begin their public tour of Colombia later this week.
And it gets darker. Former employees aren't just saying it was difficult. They're saying it wasn't even safe. Not physically, mentally. Working for Meghan was described as unstable, unpredictable, a place that slowly destroys your mental health. These aren't strangers making things up. These are people who were inside, people who saw everything firsthand. And what they experienced was bad enough that they had to speak out. Inside Prince Charles's 70th birthday garden party. Shortly after their marriage, they were invited to Prince Charles's birthday celebration. It should have been a calm, respectful appearance. Instead, it didn't last long. After only a short time, they were quietly escorted out, and insiders say it was because of Meghan Markle. She appeared uncomfortable, disengaged, and completely out of place. Her behavior sent a clear message. She didn't want to be there. And in a room built on tradition and respect, that attitude didn't go unnoticed. Camilla reportedly overheard Meghan saying she just wanted to go back home. Not quietly, not discreetly. It was obvious she didn't want to be there. Camilla passed this along to Charles, and at that point, he made a decision. Why keep someone around who was bringing negative energy into the room? Rather than let the mood sink further, he chose duty over discomfort. The situation was handled quickly and politely, but firmly. They were escorted out of the party, and insiders say it was entirely because of Meghan's behavior. Just minutes later, he turned to Harry and said calmly, "Your car is waiting outside. It's time to leave." There was no argument, no scene. They exchanged quick greetings with a few guests and quietly walked out. Just like that, the night was over. What should have been a warm family moment ended early. What a pity. Netflix pulled the plug and never looked back. And Netflix, they're done too. With Love, Meghan just wrapped up its final season. And that word, final, says everything. Netflix looked at the numbers. They looked at the results, and they made their decision. No more money, no more shows, no more chances. They are not about to write another $1 million check for a cooking show that makes people cringe and change the channel. Netflix didn't just cancel the show, they canceled her.
Reports claim her Netflix series with Love, Meghan will not be returning for a third season. The lifestyle program, which debuted last year and ran for 2 seasons plus a holiday special, drew mixed reactions from critics, but maintained a loyal fan base. Still, that support appears to have fallen short of securing a renewal.
And before Netflix, there was Spotify. After just 1 season of her Archetypes podcast, Spotify had seen enough. They didn't wait. They didn't give her another chance. The funding stopped, the deal ended, the door was shown. Netflix, Spotify, WME. Are you seeing the pattern? Every major platform that has given Meghan a chance has walked away. Every single one. The Jubilee Cathedral seating change. During Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee, an event meant to honor 70 years of duty, loyalty, and dignity, something very telling happened. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were quietly downgraded. No announcement, no drama, just silence and distance. There was no balcony appearance, no front row position, no senior royal treatment at all. In a celebration built on hierarchy, the message was impossible to miss. They were present, but clearly no longer central. Instead, they were seated away from the core royal family, clearly separated from Prince William and Catherine. The distance was visible, impossible to miss. And let's be clear, this wasn't a seating mix-up. This wasn't bad planning. It was intentional. The palace didn't need to say a word. The message was delivered silently, publicly, and with precision. If you're not a working royal, you don't get working royal privileges. It's that simple. Titles don't beat hierarchy. Cameras don't beat tradition. And for a couple that thrives on attention, this moment was brutal. Meghan arrived expecting relevance, access, and visibility. What she got instead was distance, silence, and a very public reminder of where she stood. She didn't leave with applause. She left with a lesson, one the royal system never forgets to teach.
But the Sussexes are now very much second-row royals, taking their seats away from senior family members.
Removed from Frogmore Cottage. When they stepped away from royal duties, they seemed relieved. Finally free, they thought. Free from rules, schedules, and constant responsibility. But what they didn't fully grasp was this. Freedom came with a price. The titles might linger, but the privileges didn't. The protection, the access, the special treatment, it all started to disappear, and that's when reality hit. Leaving the work also meant losing the benefits that came with being royal. When they finally left, the message wasn't subtle. They were told to vacate Frogmore Cottage and not return. This wasn't symbolic. This wasn't temporary. It was a pack your bags and go moment. For them, it marked a brutal turning point. The distance wasn't just emotional anymore. It was physical. The door was closing, and this time, it was being shut from the inside. Whatever ties remained were being cut, and the signal was clear. We don't want you close to us anymore.
Overnight, a spokesperson for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle saying the couple is being kicked out of their Windsor home. Telling NBC News, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been requested to vacate their residence at Frogmore Cottage.
The most powerful agency in Hollywood dumped her. Then, in February 2025, the news dropped like a bomb. Page 6 reported that WME, one of the most powerful talent agencies in all of Hollywood, had quietly dropped Meghan as a client. No warning. No public statement. Just gone. And the one question everybody is asking, why? What exactly did she do to get dumped by the agency? That represents the biggest names in the world, nobody is talking. And that silence is very loud.
As if Meghan Markle didn't have enough problems, we've now heard that she might have been dropped by her Hollywood agency, WME.
And then the insiders started talking. The word coming out of Hollywood, she was too demanding, too difficult, too much to deal with. Nobody wanted the headache anymore. This wasn't just one person's opinion. These were people on the inside. People who saw exactly what was happening behind closed doors. And just like that, Hollywood's patience had officially run out.
She is difficult. She's too demanding. We heard there was an incident over the holidays that year where, people came back. She was demanding this meeting. She was upset that people hadn't been, she wanted decks and plans, and they hadn't been doing them because they were on vacation and spending time with their family. And she had a meltdown. major dispute with some people, and I guess Ari Emanuel, who is the head honcho over there, was just like, I am done with her.
And it gets worse. The deals weren't working, the numbers weren't coming in, everything she was supposed to deliver, she didn't. In Hollywood, you're only as good as your last success, and hers, nowhere to be found. Why would a powerhouse agency like WME keep someone who isn't making money? They wouldn't, and they didn't. The Queen's funeral seating arrangement. At Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, it was meant to be a moment of unity, a time for the family to stand together in shared grief. But Meghan was clearly sidelined. She was placed far from the senior royals, seated behind tall candles, partially blocked from view and visibly outside the inner circle. This wasn't about space. It wasn't about logistics. The separation was obvious. The message was clear, and no one inside that church believed it was accidental. Royal funerals are planned down to the inch. Nothing is random. Nothing is accidental. Every seat, every step, every camera angle is intentional. So while Meghan wasn't physically removed from the procession, she was strategically sidelined, placed where she couldn't disrupt the order, where she couldn't dominate the frame. And in royal terms, that's the polite version of being escorted out. No scene, no confrontation, just a quiet, unmistakable message. You're here, but you're not part of this.
Viewers were shocked to see that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were relegated to the second row during the Queen's funeral.
And it didn't stop there. Beyond being pushed into a secondary role, they were not invited to a major state event hosted by King Charles III, an event meant to welcome powerful guests from around the world. This wasn't an oversight, it was deliberate. They were reportedly told, very plainly, that events like this are for working royals only, not part-timers, not outsiders, and certainly not runaways. The message was blunt and unmistakable. If you walk away from the job, you don't get the stage.
Seated in the second row at Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were reportedly excluded from a state event held at Buckingham Palace. King Charles III hosted leaders from around the globe who had traveled to London to attend the funeral. While Harry and Meghan were reportedly initially invited, the palace later decided that only working royals should be in attendance.
The royal family acted like she never existed. Then came Meghan's 42nd birthday. She was expecting the world to stop and celebrate her. Cards, messages, tributes, the whole thing. And the royal family? She was probably expecting at least a polite happy birthday. Instead, dead silence. Not a single word, not a post, not even a whisper. The royal family went about their day like it was just another Tuesday, like she didn't exist.
Even though Meghan's brand, as ever, posted a gushing tribute to her on her birthday, praising her as a woman, a business founder, a mother, a wife, the royal family has remained notably silent on this special day. And the likelihood is we aren't going to get a birthday well-wish from any of them anytime soon.
And that had to hurt. But here's the cold truth. Nobody is sugarcoating anymore. When you walk away from your responsibilities, don't be surprised when the privileges walk away from you too. You can't quit and still expect the rewards. That's not how life works. And Meghan is learning that the hard way. Reaction to the future queen. During Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee, Meghan Markle's reaction to Kate Middleton caught the eye of both the public and the media. Here's what happened. As the royal family gathered at St. Paul's Cathedral, all eyes locked on the interaction, or the clear lack of one, between Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton. The tension between the two women was obvious, and Meghan Markle's body language said it all as the royal family entered the cathedral. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were seated apart from Kate Middleton and Prince William, as Kate and William made their entrance. Meghan Markle's reaction was watched closely. Instead of a smile or nod toward Kate Middleton, Meghan appeared to look away, her expression noticeably cold. The apparent snub didn't go unnoticed, with many reading it as a deliberate move by Meghan Markle. The strained relationship between Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton has been widely reported, with rumors of a fallout dating back years. This goes back to before Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's wedding. This public moment gave a rare look at the dynamic between the two women, and Meghan's reaction seemed to confirm that something wasn't right. While the rest of the royal family kept a united front for the cameras, Meghan Markle's demeanor suggested the tension was still very much alive, critics say. Critics were quick to pounce, accusing Meghan Markle of snubbing Kate Middleton and failing to put personal issues aside for the moment. The Jubilee was meant to honor Queen Elizabeth II's historic reign. Yet Meghan Markle's cold reaction pulled focus away from the celebration and straight back to royal drama, reinforcing the view of Meghan Markle as someone unwilling to follow royal expectations and pushing the divide between her and the rest of the royal family even deeper. Dame Kristen Scott Thomas pretended she was invisible. But this is the one that broke the internet. At Paris Fashion Week, the same event she pushed her way into, Meghan spotted Kristen Scott Thomas, a true Hollywood legend, a woman of real class and reputation. Meghan saw her chance. She walked over. She tried to start a conversation. And Kristen Scott Thomas looked right through her. No hello, no smile, no acknowledgement, nothing. Completely ignored, in front of everyone. The embarrassment was immediate. Meghan panicked and quickly turned to the person next to her, pretending like nothing happened. But everybody saw it. You can't hide a rejection that big. She tried everything and still got ignored. And there you have it. Dolly Parton, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Spotify, Netflix, WME, Kristen Scott Thomas, the royal family, the whole world. One by one, they all said no. So tell me, which one of these snubs hit different for you? Drop it in the comments. I want to know what you think. And if this video had you hooked, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, and don't go anywhere, because the next one, even bigger.